right, guys, welcome to the Guest Life podcast, episode 10 with Kevin Huynh. We're so happy to have him on the show here. Kevin is the principal broker at Empire Mortgage Group, which is located downtown right now on Bold Street in Hamilton. I've known Kevin for a long time. I usually ask him some hilarious questions when I need his services. But I thought I'd bring him on the show, and so happy to have him.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Made it to episode 10, man. I'm jacked up to be your top 10.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me today, bro.
Thanks, man. So as you guys know, this podcast is really close to my heart and kind of showcasing some of the young talent, well, just talent in general, of Hamilton and surrounding areas of entrepreneurs, like-minded individuals, people that are making an impact, making a change, and also giving back to the community. And Kevin's a great candidate for that. Really showcasing, what you can do once you've kind of come into some success and ability to kind of give back to the people that have given to you. As well, he's an awesome broker in the city. There's a lot of competition out there, you would say, but not if you're looking for the type of services that Kevin and his team provide. So we're so happy to learn from the best, and we'll hear some of his stories today, and also probably tell a couple of personal stories between me and Kev from nothing but nice, easy nights out with one glass of wine maximum.
One max. Yeah.
This one more, and then we'll go.
Let's go. Let's get started.
So, talking about the podcast, talking about Kev being an entrepreneur, he is the principal broker for Empire Mortgage Group, which is a big deal because that's a recent move for you, correct?
Yes, it is, Dan. So I've been in industry for over 10 years now. An agent up until last November, and we launched our own independent brokerage. We're the 53rd brokerage under the Coalition of Independent Mortgage Brokers Canada, and just super stoked to have a brand that we can fully control from beginning to end, top down, from design, branding, education, just full service for all of our clients, right? So everyone within the system is fully on board to help the brand grow all across Southern Ontario and hopefully Canada one day.
I love that. So 53rd independent for Ontario?
Under under the Simbic umbrella. So right now it is actually nationwide. Yeah. So yeah.
So that's Canada.
Yeah. So we have brokers out in Alberta, Calgary, and all over, up in Quebec and stuff like that too. So
wow.
Yeah.
So then, as a broker, just to explain to some of the listeners, we're talking about what Kevin does. He'll better explain this, but kind of take your options for different types of mortgages, and then you present them to the client?
Yeah, you know what? There is a misconception with mortgage brokers, right? It's an old tale where if you don't get approved by the bank, you go see a mortgage broker, they charge you high fees. But that's not the case, right? We, as of today, we're at 61 different banks and lenders that we work with, right? So you come to us, we do a full analysis of your whole financial situation, and then we kind of shop it around to see what's the best terms. There's misconceptions on 5-year fixed being the best mortgage product out there. Agree, disagree kind of deal on that. So, people come to me and ask, what's the best mortgage? You know what I mean? It's just like walk into a car dealership and say, what's the best car here? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, are you looking for a coupe, top down, minivan? How many kids you got, right? So for us, information and documentation serves as a roadmap to get us from point A to where we are now to point B is home ownership, right? So the more information and documentation that the client provides, the better it is for us to do a full analysis and, educate and advise on what the best option is.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit how you got started. How'd you get into this? You're from Hamilton, which just means I know you're kind of a competing high school from McNabb from us.
Yeah.
So where'd you grow up?
Yeah. It's funny growing up as all competition, but now if you're a Hamiltonian, it's all family, right?
Yeah.
East End, born and raised, Sir Winston Churchill High School,
okay.
McMaster University, Mohawk College, and just stayed and just grew the business in Hamilton. I actually went to school for financial planning. Okay. So in our graduating class, it was either, I've always had a passion for real estate and then money. So I'm like, naturally, it's kind of mortgages, right? But financial planning was the flashy job, right? That or stockbroker, right? So So what I talked to a lot of mentors in the industry, both financial advising and mortgage brokering, and what I realized is that like I do enjoy real estate and I enjoyed commerce as a passion. So let's give this a shot. Also, like everyone else in my graduating class took financial planning, so I just got all the referrals right off the bat, right? So I just went like blue ocean strategy, just like next door, and really. The first couple of years was a grind, like starting up any business out there. For all you entrepreneurs out there, I'm sure you can relate. It's tough. Like not like a lot of brokers were former either bank advisor, mortgage advisor at the bank. They have a bank background, so they have that database to make that transition a little easier. For me, I didn't have any of that, right? Just straight out of school, right? So really had to grind. Network a lot. Like at one point, I was at a networking event every single night of the week, right? So my girlfriend loved that at the time, right? Yeah. So
is that because you brought her, or is that because she stayed away?
no, no. She actually hated it. She's like, "When are we gonna hang out?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Babe, like I'm just trying to grow this empire, right?"
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough. Luckily, I had a very supporting spouse at the time. And she was like my sugar mama for like a couple of years, right? So yeah, kind of kept my head down, grinded, and in year 2, I was actually about to quit. Like I made 12 grand my first year, made 30 grand or 35 grand my second year, right? I had 3 offers as financial advisor coming out of school, starting at 45 grand. So I'm like 2 years afterwards, I'm still making less than what I would have made right out of school. So then my mentor at the time, James Lowen at Lowen Group Mortgages, he's a phenomenal guy. Like took me under his wing there too, and he's like, Kevin, before you consider anything else, talk to a business coach, right? So I remember Walter Frenetti. We're in on Brand Street at the Artisan Cafe there, and this I walk in and it's like a Robert De Niro looking guy, right? I'm like, hey Walter, I don't want to offend you, waste your time, but there's nothing that you can tell me that I don't know. Like I'm a superstar, I'm a rock star. He looks at me, right? Long pause. It felt like it was like 10 minutes. He goes, if you know everything already, then why aren't you effing successful? And I couldn't answer him. And next thing you know, like we sat there for 3.5 hours just talking about like, because at that time I was still working a part-time job to kind of make ends meet with the mortgage thing on the side. He's like, hey, just give this thing a go for 6 months, Gav. You got nothing to lose. No young, no kids, right? Still living at home at the time, driving my dad's like Lexus like it was mine, right? So. Yeah, like so I quit my other job at the time, took on mortgages full time, and just grind it and met more people and like did it the right way. Like build relationships. And I think that's so important as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is to build just good, genuine relationships. Yep. And like just to learn to care about other people's businesses. I think that's been so key to my success. It's so many networking events I've gone to, and people come in and just hand out business cards, right? And just be like, send me some business, send me some business, right? And like it might work here and there, but I don't think that's the right way to build relationships, to build long-term relationships. Some of my I was lucky enough to have amazing referral sources from the get-go, right? One of my good buddies is a realtor, and he got me kind of into the industry, and he still supports me since. But a lot of my good referral sources took years. Like one of my best referral sources didn't send me a deal for the first 6 years I knew him. It's one of my good buddies. But like over time, you kind of try to earn that trust, and then when you do get a chance, don't mess it up, right? You know what I mean? Exceed expectations, right? So and that's what. Those are like the values that you try to instill in the new agents that come on board, like the new underwriters that come on board, right? Because like you see the lunches, the golf, and like you know what I mean, like all the just like the facade of what it's like to be a mortgage broker, but nobody knows the grind, right? So yeah, it's tough, but yeah, turn the corner year 3, and been growing ever since, man. So yeah, very fortunate to be where I am today. Very fortunate to have such amazing referral partners and clients, right? And just center of influences have been amazing to me.
Yeah. And that, I think it's really amazing to kind of hear. I've been sat down a couple different times from a few people that have been really inspirational for me in terms of like, hey, you know, either you're right or you're wrong, but stop what you're doing and rethink it, or just get another perspective.
Yeah.
Which I think perspective is a huge part of growth, because when you're dialed into something, it doesn't mean that you always think you're right, but sometimes it's just hard to see outside the box when you're, you know, when it's taped,
Right,
and you're inside it.
yeah, absolutely.
So giving that, like, kind of that, taking it to that next level. So that's the beginning of your career.
Yeah.
You've been growing like crazy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about recent.
Yeah.
53rd independent brokerage. I think you downplay it because I've talked to you outside of this a couple times. Let's talk about that. How did you take it to that next level in terms of, like, you know, giving yourself that opportunity and saying, you know what, I'm going to do this, even though it sounds a little bit crazy.
Yeah. We like the transition has been in the works for quite some time.
What's quite some time, just so people understand?
Like 2 years. Yeah, I mean, like it was like it like doesn't make sense or not. Like just like it wasn't always like 100% we're doing this, right? Because, like, you know, like our family at Mortgage Financial has been awesome. You know what I mean? So it's just like nothing against them. Great brokers to work for. It's just a matter of time. It's like, hey, do you want to try this and kind of fall flat on your face, or just be safe about it, right? So I rather fall flat on my face and fail than like regret not doing it, right? So talk to a lot of people, right? I talked to a lot of people. Interview.
What was the general feedback?
The general feedback was like so we talked to a lot of different mortgage umbrella companies too, and they all want you, right? So they're just throwing stuff at you, incentives at you, and all of this marketing, all like the full package at you, right? And it's for you to decipher what's really in it for you and what's in it for them, right? Because people just don't give you free stuff and free money for no reason, right? There's always a kickback somewhere, right? So to me, like, and then I met John Barges at through Symbic, like the coalition there, and I just, like, he was straightforward from the beginning, still a good support system now, and like just really just be like, here, this is what you get, you know, no more, no less. How do you feel about it, right? And yeah, like we sat down as a team, went over all the pros and cons, and just like, hey man, let's do this. And it is more work in-house on the back end for us now, through like payroll, HR, compliance, education pieces, all that jazz. But like it's been awesome, right? Because like I'm like, hey, this is how I want to run it, right? So and talking to, like, I have some amazing friends and colleagues within the mortgage industry, and just having coffees with them and just picking their brains and what they're doing and what you're doing, right? And from office setup to like marketing, branding, to like events, stuff like that. Like, what are you guys doing? And like, especially in Hamilton, it's a very collaborative atmosphere. And there are a handful of amazing brokers that we kind of share ideas all the time with, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool to see such a widespread industry getting so tight, because you don't just do like first mortgages, correct?
No, first mortgages, second mortgages, construction financing, residential, commercial.
Wow.
We love first-time home buyers. We love savvy investors, or first-time home buyers that want to be savvy investors. We love educating, right? Like our goal is to provide options and just to educate. You know what I mean? Like even if you don't use our services, like, ask us for a second opinion, right? Yeah, we thrive on that. We've gotten a lot of referral business indirectly because of that, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Education's so key in terms of, I would say, in growing your business. I mean, it's been for us as well. Like, we had Kevin and his team come in and educate some of our staff just for like simple idea planning. And, I sat in on the meeting and I learned some stuff. I didn't know that you could port a mortgage. When you're in the industry, sometimes it feels so second nature, and you're like, how did someone not know? I said, well, I haven't been doing it for 10 years. And my staff found it so rewarding. And I think a couple people reached out, but, the big thing is, I think when there's always so much intent, when you're so pushy, it never gets received well. When you're just going and educating, like, maybe some of my staff will reach out in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years.
Absolutely.
You know, and the big thing is like it doesn't matter, but it's a great feeling when you're able to educate. And I think now that you're at a point in your career, how many people have reached out to you now for the advice that you were looking for back in the day?
Oh yeah, a ton. Especially those who are new to the industry.
Yeah.
We get calls on a weekly basis for agents wanting to join our team, and we go through a pretty strenuous like filtering process. Like we want good people. We want people who broker mortgages correctly, do it the right way, and to build a long-term successful plan. Right? If you want to be successful, like if you want to make six figures. Yeah, like you want to make 250 a year, 500, whatever it is. Like we'll get you there. Just how hard you want to work, right?
Yeah.
So and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to suck for a long time, right? So have a nice reserve fund, or like mom's and dad's trust account ready, right? So, but yeah, like it's not hard, right? It's not hard work. It's working smart. Align yourself with the right people, man. Learn. Like I'm a lifelong learner. I love learning. I love reading. I love asking people. I love surrounding myself with smarter people than me. Yeah. I love being in a room where I just ask questions, right? And I learn so much from those people. It's just like if you're playing a sport. If you go golfing with guys that are way better than you, you try way harder. You ask for tips. You try different things, and you just naturally play better, right? Like for entrepreneurs with a competitive nature, like us. We want to take it to the next level always, right? So I think that's why I feel like I have so much more to learn. I've gone so far, yes, but I've stayed hungry and humble, and I think like if you're a lifelong learner and you continue to learn from good people, man, the sky's the limit, dude.
And I see it. I'm fortunate enough to call Kevin a friend, and I see him doing it actively, right? And sometimes it can be depressing because you're in a room and you're like, hey, how's it going? And he's telling you all this, and this, and you're like, oh, I gotta get after it a little bit more. And I think sometimes it's kind of continuing at the level that you're being an entrepreneur at, or building your business and building yourself, as well as we'll touch on this after, is building a family. Mm-hmm. It's like keeping that hunger alive and that consistency and that drive when things aren't going well, or you have those bad days that turn into bad weeks. I think we all try to shake those, but sometimes it just compounds. So to my next point, Kevin is a new father. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your family life.
Yeah. So beautiful wife, Jessica, just being a huge support system. She's the rock that keeps the family together. Like love her to death, right? But she's my second favorite. Next to little Charlotte. Yeah, she turned 1 year old last week.
Okay.
And
happy birthday.
Started stumbling around, just like loves the keyboard. Got put on her lap, just hammering away the keyboard. It's the cutest thing, right? And absolutely a game changer being a father, right? Before fatherhood, it was like grind, day and night. Yeah, and just really like put like work above, making money above everything else. But until you start a family, you realize like now it's like, okay, how do I create more time? Yeah. Right. So my mission is, like create an environment where, we're still growing as a company and everyone within the company is still growing and making more money. But how do we free up more time and be more efficient? Right. You have to spend money to make money sometimes, right? Put the right staff in place, put the right personnel in place to free up more time for you to spend with your family. Because like to me, family is so important. Family and friends, support systems, like I love backyard barbecues. I love traditions, right? Like those are things that keep me going. And when we had Charlotte, like that was a total game changer. Yeah. Like a lot of my friends had kids before I did, and like when you hold it for the first time, it's going to change your world. Like sure, yeah, like you don't know the feeling until you go through yourself. Yeah. And when I held her, but I cried like a little baby, man. Like, and I've loved her ever since, right? So, and I want to give her every single opportunity in the world to be successful, right? But also teach her the value of the dollar. Yeah. And teach her to be kind and loving, and I think she'll be fine. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So, and what are you doing now for time management? Like
the balance.
What are the kind of I hate work-life balance because I don't think it exists when you're an entrepreneur and you're someone, or not even just an entrepreneur, but someone that's the best at whatever they do, whether it's being a mother. Like if you're the best mother, you're probably not going to be the best at work. So, how do you kind of strategize your day? I know you're an early riser. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of getting after it. What do you find is like giving some of the listeners, the competitor's edge? What do you do? How do you do it?
The Miracle Morning. So that's a great read. It starts the day at 5 a.m. Right? I was never like that, man. Like I used to be a night hawk, like through school, through playing Call of Duty growing up, because I was always a night hawk, right? So switching that mindset to waking up earlier, right? It started just start with half an hour earlier a day.
Yep.
Game changer, Dan. So like when I first started up, I might wake up at 8, go to the office at 9. So then you start 7:30 for a week, 7 for another week, right? 6:30 for another week, and then eventually get to 5 a.m. and the amount of things I accomplished from 5 to 9. Because once 9 o'clock hits, my phone goes off, my email inbox gets flooded, right? So I take that time to really time block your whole day. Like what do I have to do today to be the most efficient person possible, right? Meditation's huge, right? You got the wife, you got the kids going crazy, you got the people in the office going crazy, you got your clients, like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and everybody wants an answer yesterday. So meditation for me, it's been huge, and I actually got that from you, Dan. So thank you for that. And when I need it most, it's 5 minutes, right? And that's all you need to kind of do a quick reset. Yep. But waking up early, like I wake up early, get a run in or get a workout in, 6, catch up on the news, answer a couple of emails, right? And like my to-do list is ready to go, right? And time blocking is huge for me, right? Like Monday, 10 to 11, call my clients, for example. Like that phone goes away for an hour, and I just close the door and you time block. I think that's been a game changer too. Yeah. And just prioritize your mailbox, right? You're not gonna get everything done, but if you prioritize and get back to your clients and your referral sources in a timely manner, yep. I think that's how you continue to grow your business, right?
In the back of my head, I'm thinking what I can be doing right now.
yeah, for sure.
And time blocking is huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gets to that stuff. I think that's just absolutely great advice. I've been personally doing it, and I find, said before the podcast, like there's always a reason to get up earlier. There's not a lot of reasons to stay up later, especially right. I think being young as an entrepreneur, like you said, there's a lot of nights during the week where there's events and you're trying to network and get to all of them. I found myself in that trap too, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're drunk 3 or 4 nights of the week, and you're not stumbling drunk, but it takes a toll on your body. And I find when you can get your body right, it gets your mind right, 100%. Right? Because at the end of the day, the struggling to get up at 5 and go to the gym for 6, is that a physical struggle, mm-hmm. or is it actually just you mentally fighting with yourself to get in?
It's mental. Like there's some days when I'm waking up at 5 and I have 1,000 excuses to go back to bed.
Yeah.
15 minutes. Oh, my back's sore. Like we just talked about it, right? It's dark out. Yeah. Right? It's overcast. You have 1,000 excuses, right? But like if you just show up. Yeah. You just show up, or just lace up the pair of running shoes and just go out for a walk. Like it's a game changer to get that workout, that sweat in early, and it just starts your day so right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think it just sets you up for success. And before it is a little bit of a competitor's thing. I love to be up while my competitors are sleeping. Yeah. I think that comes with age too, where you sleep less based on business, or maybe earlier if you have kids.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the charity work that you do, because I think it goes under the radar sometimes, because you do so much for this community, and right. Some of the initiatives actually you started to get me involved with, which I thought was fantastic. So tell us a little bit about some of that stuff.
Yeah. We're actually that's an amazing topic, Dan, because there's something that we've been working on for a long time.
Yep.
And it's a spin-off of, like, I'm a huge basketball guy, right? And the National Basketball Association does the NBA Cares program.
Okay.
That gives back to the community. So we're gonna launch an Empire Cares program, and then all of our community service and involvement and charitable work would go under that umbrella.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we launched Putt for Purpose last year.
Yeah.
Huge mini putt advocate. Actually met my wife while we were both working at a mini putt course.
Come on.
Yeah. So I think it's the course record there. So if anyone wants to throw up a nice 32, anytime, right? So we just brought it back to my roots. Like a golf tournament is a lot of work and it's a whole day event, right? And like a lot of people are timid about actual golfing. But mini putt is just a great down. It's quick. You can play around in 35, 40 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be a whole day. It can be half a day. And we partner up with Food for Kids Hamilton to try to end, in an attempt to one day end just youth hunger, right? So there's thousands of kids on the list, all like most inner city kids, right? And we try to just really like how provide food, right? If you don't have food and you're starving, how can you learn? How can you play sports?
Yeah.
Like it's just like I was fortunate enough, like my dad worked hard growing up, so I never experienced coming home and not having food. You know what I mean? So call me privileged to have food, right?
Yeah.
But like the story started, Food for Kids started when this teacher came up to this kid who had a frozen pizza in his hand. He was eating it frozen. And the teacher goes, "Hey, where did you get that pizza?" And he's like, nowhere." He's like, "No, actually, buddy, like, where'd you get that pizza?" He's like, "Oh, I stole it because I was too hungry." Man, I'm just like, that breaks my heart, man.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and every time I think about it, I imagine like my little Charlotte not having food. You know, like it's like how can you reach for your dreams? And you know what I mean? Like how can you aspire to do anything if you're just hungry, right? So it's a great initiative. In our first year, we were able to surpass what we wanted to raise for them. And COVID happened this year, but we wanted to bring that tenfold eventually, right? And just eliminate the list totally. So, so that's one initiative. We last year, so I grew up East End. Went to Fairfield School, grade kindergarten, grade 5. School's no longer there, but went to W.H. Ballard and to Winston Churchill. And we went back last year to W.H. Ballard and sponsored a scholarship, or like actually an award there, right, for excellence in academics and athletics, right? So for me, academics and athletics, man, that that really kept my mind straight.
Yeah.
Right? Like growing up in a very blue collar neighborhood where like a lot of single parent families there.
Yep.
Amazing people. Some of my best friends I still know from grade 6. But in that environment, like what I mean, like you can get in a lot of trouble, right? But sports and academics kept me off the streets, so to say, right? It might sound cliche, but it did, right? So now we went back. And one of my good friends is a phys ed teacher there, and he kind of helped launch the program with the principal there. And they're just great people, right? That want to give back. So we sponsored this award, and now the kids are getting excited. They want to win this award. So more kids are trying out for sports teams, right? More kids are hitting the books, right? And overall, it just creates a way better environment for everybody. And because of that award, if I can help one kid achieve his or her dreams, like that's the goal, right? So we're working to eventually do it to our high school as well, and then just throughout the city, right? So like people within our organization come from different backgrounds, stuff like that. So we want to support every educational institution possible, right? So it's a Ballard Bobcat, so we call it Golden Bobcat Award.
Amazing.
So whatever the mascot is, the Golden Mascot Award, right? And like we presented last year, and the young lady that won it last year, oh man, she's ecstatic, right? And she's so deserving too. So it's always nice to give back to community, because I think for the community to support you, you have to support the community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that's just amazing. I didn't know about the award.
It's cool.
First time I've heard of it. But,
first year doing it. So.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's I mean, I think that as an entrepreneur, talking to more entrepreneurs in the community, and again, starting this podcast to kind of showcase that some of these conversations that I don't even know if you'd ever have the opportunity to talk about, right? Right. You don't always talk about your charitable stuff while you're having beers or out for dinner, but it inspires me to do more, and I think that's such a special thing when you're like you're not fighting for the top of the financial ladder. You're fighting for the top of who can give back more.
Right.
That's a fight I'd love to have all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I love it.
And I think that, going back to kind of how you started and where you came from and some of the lessons and the people that you could reach out to and gave you that support. And I think the big thing is just supporting each other in the community, and however we are, at that time. It just, blows me away to have you on the show and
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. So to kind of wrap up, like, what would be your, giving some advice to your earlier self or someone else in the community that's kind of looking to become, this entrepreneurial person or this leader, this, charitable donator. What advice would you give to that person?
I love that question. One of my good friends, he's a high school teacher, and the one activity he had, it was write a letter to your younger self.
Yeah.
And I love that activity. So to me, it's really like when you first start off as an entrepreneur, just give it everything you got. Like, you have nothing to lose, right? And it's not easy, because if it's easy, then everybody would do it. Well, a lot of people are trying to, right? But you just got to work hard, work smart, and surround yourself with the right people. Positive people who are going to just like really take it to the next level from a mentorship, from an educational point of view, and really like just time block your day and be as effective as possible, right? Because as an entrepreneur, it's very easy to be complacent, right? It's easy to sleep in. It's easy not to show up at the office. It's easy not to answer the phone. Yeah. Right? But if you just do it the right way from the get-go, and like I learned through that, and I know those things because I went through those things. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I was lazy at first, really. And now, because of all those lessons that I've learned in the past, I'm trying to instill them into the next generation of brokers. Yeah. Right? And like the hard part is that like sometimes they just have to learn for themselves. Yeah. Right? But like I'm trying to expedite their success path. You know what I mean? Like the things that I did wrong in the first 2 years, let's try to eliminate in the first 2 months. And like, I want you to make 6 figures your first year or first 6 months, whatever it is, right? If you're willing to work hard for it, right? And just not make the same mistakes I made, right? But just surround yourself and continue learning, man. I keep going back to this education and learning, but like, and sound like a broken record, but like, man, just learn from smart people and ask questions. Right? There's an unbelievable amount of resources out there, especially with the internet now, right? It's like, and like, if you need somebody, if you want to look for a reference point, it's out there, right? So just keep learning, keep reading, and like, man, like it's not easy, right, Dan? And give it time, right? Like anything, give it time, right? And like success will build over time. Right? And just like any marketing plan, like people try a marketing plan for a week, doesn't work, and just scrap it, right? I like to give at least 6 months to see if it works out or not, right? And then I really know if I can continue with that or not.
Which sounds like a long time.
Yeah, and learn, right? Just learn, be the professional, be the expert in your field, learn everything there is to know, and if you don't know it, just let the client know, hey man, I'll get back to you. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? That's a great question. I'll get back to you tomorrow. Yeah. I'll get back to you tonight. Yeah. Right. So I think those are just amazing. If you start like that right there, it just creates an amazing foundation for you to grow off of and build off of.
I think that's fantastic advice. So thanks, Kevin, for being on the show. Episode 10 of the Guest Life podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. A big question we always want to ask ourselves, and Kevin's a great attest to that, is why not me and why not now? Making an impact in the community, trying a new business idea, driving harder into your own business. And I think it's a great question for everybody, especially if you need that new spark or new idea. Yeah. So thanks so much for being on the show, Kevin. Episode 10, we made it.
Thanks for having me, Dan. It's a pleasure being here. You guys have been like family to us, so I really appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, guys.